So I'm sure you did something known as an atom back then when you were in grade 9 or all those lower grades. So we say that an atom, remember that it is the smallest building block of matter, right? It is the smallest building block of matter. It means that each and everything that exists on Earth, it is made up of smaller particles known as atoms. Each and everything that exists on Earth is made up of smaller particles. So basically an atom has got the following things. It has got a nucleus that has got positive charges, and it has got orbitals that have got negative charges, something like this. But we're not going to use this model for electrostatics. We're just going to use a sphere to represent that. So let's just say this is your atom. Let's just say this is your atom. Just say this is your atom. It must have positive and negative charges in it. So let's just say you've got, this is one positive charge, this is one positive charge, this is one negative charge, this is one negative charge. So you can realize that in this sphere, we have got a positive and positive, we've got a negative and negative. So we have got two positive charges, or we say they're known as protons. So you've got two protons. We represent them using a P and a plus on top. And then you have got two electrons. We represent them using an E and a minus on top. So the negative charges are known as electrons. The positive are known as protons. So here you can see that you have got an equal number of protons and electrons. So here you have got an equal number of protons and electrons. So we have an equal number of positive charges or protons and electrons. So this basically means that your sphere is actually neutral. So when you've got equal number of protons and electrons, you say that this is neutral. It's neutral. So whenever you hear the word neutral, it just simply means that you've got the same number of protons or positive charges and the same number of negative charges. So this is a neutral object. So you can actually take an object and actually make it to be charged. It can have a positive charge or a negative charge. So let's just see how does that look like. So if I draw another sphere here and I say you've got positive.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Can I ask?
Yes, you may.
Is it true that we're gonna, from the same, we're gonna change friction to trigoelectric charging?
You're gonna change what?
We are no longer gonna use the word friction, we're gonna use trigoelectric charging.
Yes, triboelectric charging, you're gonna replace it for friction, but it basically means the same thing.
What is polarization? Polar something.
We're still gonna see all of those concepts.
See, that's what I got it wrong.
What?
I didn't answer that question.
I don't worry, we're gonna look at all of that. For now, we're still building the basic. Okay, so you can have a sphere, and that sphere you can see that now it has got more positive charges, because here you can see that you've got 3 positive charges and you've got 1 negative charge or 1 electron. So here you can see that in this case you have got more. Here you've got more positive charges. Here you have got more positive charges than the negative charges. So we say that if you have got more positive charges than negative charges, you say that your object is positively charged because it has got more positive charges. So it is positively charged. You see that there are more positive charges than the negative charges. It's positively charged. And also, you can have more negative charges. Maybe something like this, positive, and maybe let's just put negative, negative, negative. So here in this case, you can see that in this sphere, you've got 1 positive charge and you have got 3 negative charges. So to interpret this, you can say that here you've got more. Here you've got more negative charges or more electrons than protons. So since we've got more negative charges, we're going to say that this sphere is negatively charged. So this is a negatively charged object. Negatively charged. So that's basically what's happening here. So you just look at the number of positive and the number of negative charges. If they're equal, you say that it's a neutral. And then if there are more protons or more positive charges, you say that it is positively charged. If there are more negative charges than the positive ones, you say that it is negatively charged. So basically, you can turn a neutral sphere. And you can make it to be positively charged, or you can make it to be negatively charged. So basically, here you can see that this first one, the sphere number 1, has got 2 protons and 2 electrons, so they're equal. But you can make it to have more protons to make it positively charged. You can move it from being neutral to being positively charged. You do not add the positive charges, but you remove the negative charges. For example, here, if you take this sphere and you remove the negative charges, let's just say, for example, here, if I remove 1 negative charge, you can see now that we have got 2 protons and 1 electron. So now there are more protons than electrons. So now this is now positively charged just by doing what? By removing an electron. So to move from neutral to positively charged, you remove an electron. It's all about removing an electron. You do not add a proton, you remove an electron, so that it moves from neutral to positively charged. You can also take something that is a neutral and make it to be negatively charged. So you can make it to be negatively charged. You do this by adding an electron. So here you are adding an electron. So for example, if we take this one, you can see that it has got 2 protons, 2 electrons. I can choose to add another electron here. If I add another electron to the sphere, now I've got 3 electrons and only 2 protons. So now there are more electrons than protons, or there are more negative charges. So this will become negatively charged by doing what? By adding an electron. So basically, adding or removing an electron can take something from being neutral to being positively charged or negatively charged. So to move from neutral to be negatively charged, you need to add electrons. So that is the basic idea of electrostatics, to say that you can charge things. And then now you ask yourself, how do you actually charge those things? How do you charge those things? The methods of transferring electrons. Because remember, you can either add an electron to make something to be negatively charged, or you can remove an electron to make something to be positively charged. So how to do that? The methods. How to transfer electrons between two objects. So the one that is most common, do you want to say something?
I was going to ask if you don't use the Planck's constant or something.
No, we have. I think you're mixing up the things. There is no Planck's constant involved in electrostatics. That is for the waves, sound, and light.
Oh, we use the Q1 plus Q2 all divided by 2.
It depends on what you are doing. First of all, we are still developing what you should do. Don't mix up the information. Just follow up with what I'm doing so far. Are you following up? Are you following up?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we can do this using triboelectric charging. You can use triboelectric charging, as we had said. So when you're doing triboelectric charging, it just means that you are wrapping objects. So when you wrap two objects together, then you are able to transfer electrons. One object will gain electrons while the other one loses electrons. So that's how you can charge them. Or you can just put them into contact. So you can just put them into contact, or you just place them next to each other. You just place them next to each other. You just put two charges next to each other. You've got one charge here, you've got another charge here. So let's just say this is sphere A and then this is sphere B. Sphere A, let us just say it has got positive, and it has got one negative. Okay, so sphere A has got a positive and one negative. And let's say sphere B has got negative, and it has got one positive. So we can all agree that sphere A is positively charged because there are more positive charges here. We've got two positives and one negative. So sphere A is positively charged. And sphere B, you can see that it is negatively charged. It has got more electrons. So now when you put two spheres into contact, the basic thing that happens there is that the electrons are the ones that move. So electrons will always move from where there are many to where there are less. Electrons will move from where there are many to where there are less. So electrons in this case, they will move from B to A. The negative charges or the electrons, they will move from B to A because you can see that we've got more negative charges at B. You've got more negative charges here at B, and you've got less negative charges at A. So the negative charges will do what? They will move from where there are many to where there are less. So they actually move from a negatively charged object, or the one that has got more electrons, to the one that has got less electrons. So it doesn't just move any other way. So electrons move from where there are many to where there are less. And then now after they move, let's just take another example. Let us just look at what happens after they move, because now we know that electrons move from where there are many to where there are less. So electrons move from where there are many to where there are less electrons. From where there are many to where there are less electrons. So now let us just look at that in a more detailed way. So let's just say, for example, you've got here, you've got positive, you've got negative, you've got positive, okay, and you've got another sphere here, and then you've got positive, you've got positive, you've got negative, you've got negative, okay, you've got negative here. So this is A, this is B, okay, and let's just say, yeah, it's cool, it's like this. So now you can see that A, it is positively charged. You can count the charges here. You've got one positive, and one negative. So A is positively charged, it has got more positive charges. B is negatively charged, it has got more negative charges. So in this case, the electrons, they will move from B to A. So now how many electrons will move from B to A? How do we know? So the purpose of this thing, when you bring sphere A and B into contact, the purpose is that electrons should move from where there are many to where there are less until they are all equal. So let's just say now we move one electron from B to A. Do you realize that if we move one electron from B to A will remain with more positive charges. Okay, A will remain with now 2 electrons, I mean. So basically, one electron has moved from here, from B, and has went to A. So A will now be neutral. So this is our new A, and is now neutral. And then this is sphere B. This is sphere B. You can see that now sphere B, if we remove one electron, remember that one electron has moved to A. So in sphere B, will remain with positive, and would have negative, negative. So do you see that sphere B is also neutral? Sphere B is also neutral. So the whole purpose of transferring electrons between two objects that are in contact, it is to make the objects to have the same charge, because now all the objects, they look alike. A is neutral, B is neutral. They've got the same charge. That is the whole purpose of transferring electrons from where there are many to where there are less. So now we now say that positive charges, like charges, let's just say like charges attract, they repel, I mean. Like charges, they repel, so they always want to move away from each other when they are the same charges. For example, a positive and a positive, they repel. They don't want to be closer to each other. And then the unlike charges, they attract. The unlike charges will do what? Will attract. So like charges repel, unlike charges, they attract. A positive and a negative, they attract, whereas a positive and a positive, they repel. A negative and a negative, they repel. So now let us see, how do we actually find the size of the charge? Let's look now and apply mathematics to the physics. So the size of the charge. So first of all, charge is a quantity that we measure using the symbol Q. So the symbol for charge is Q. So you'll be like Q is equals to something. That is the size of the charge. And you measure it using coulombs. So the units for charge is coulombs. So this is the symbol for charge, Q, and then you measure it in coulombs. So basically here, if we have got this sphere here, and we say this is sphere A, and I write here 4 coulombs, 4, and I write C. So this 4 here, it is telling me the size or the magnitude of the charge. So in this case, I can say that my charge for sphere A is equals to 4 coulomb. I can also draw another sphere here, and I say this is sphere B, and then maybe write a charge and say -3 coulomb. So that C is telling me that this is charge. So this -3, as long as I see a C after it, this C, it tells me that we are measuring charge. So Q here, which is the charge, is -3 coulomb. So now, are these going to attract or are they going to repel? What do you think will happen? Is A and B going to attract or repel?
Attract.
Yes, exactly. They are going to attract because you can see that A is positive 4 coulomb. So this is positive 4. 4 is a positive number, right? So this means that A is positively charged. B is -3 coulomb. So this negative, it tells me that B is negatively charged. You see? So now, basically, these two are unlike charges. This is a positive and a negative. So they will attract. And then when they attract, when we say that they attract, it just means that they move closer to one another. When they attract, they move closer to one another and they become in contact. So if we bring them in contact in this case, if we bring them in contact, this will be A, this will be B. Now they are in contact. So this is 4 coulombs, and then this is -3 coulombs. Remember, we have said that when you bring 2 charges into contact with each other, if you bring 2 charges into contact with each other, the electrons or the negative charges, will move from where there are many to where there are less. In this case, you can see that B is negatively charged. And remember that negatively charged, simply put, it means that we have got more electrons. The word negatively charged just means that we have got more electrons. We have got more electrons than protons. So in this case, B is negatively charged. It has got more negative charges. A is positively charged. It has got less negative charges. So now using that, we can say that where will the electrons be moving? Are they going to move from B to A or from A to B? Where are the electrons going to be moving? From B to A or from A to B?
B to A.
Yes, from B to A. They move from where there are many to where there are less. So there will be electrons that will be transferred and they move with the charge. Okay. So now, remember the whole purpose of these two being in contact it is so that they actually have the same charge. We're actually sharing charge. It's like I've got 100 rands and then you have got 40 rands, right? And we need to have the same amount of money. I've got more money, you've got less money. So I will transfer some of my money to you so that we are at an equal. So we know that after they're in contact, when they separate, they must have equal charges. They must have equal charges. So the charge of A and the charge of B must be the same. The value of Q for A and the value of Q for B must be the same. So how do we calculate the new charge on each sphere? So now when two spheres are in contact, basically, the new charge of each sphere, new charge on each, because remember that they must have the same charge after being in contact. They must have the same charge. So how do we calculate the new charge on each sphere? So if I have got 100 rands and you have got 20 rands, how much must we have if I give you a certain amount of my money? Let's just say I've got 100 rands and you've got 20 rands. How much must I give you so that we can be equal?
120 divided by 2 equals to 60.
Exactly. You see, if I give you a certain amount of money, we'll have 60 rands each. Particularly if I give you 40 rands, since you've got 20 rands, you will have 20 plus 40. And since I had 100 rands, I would have 100 minus 40. So I actually give you 40 rands and we are equal. So basically, to find the new charge, we basically add everything that we have. We add the charge of the first one plus the charge of the second sphere, and we divide them by 2 because they are only 2. So in this case, Q1, it was 4 coulombs plus Q2, it is -3. You substitute the -3 here. And then you divide them by 2. 4 plus -3 would give you 4 minus 3, which is 1/2. So the new charge on each will be 0.5 coulombs. So this will be 0.5 coulombs on each sphere. So 0.5 coulombs on each sphere. So this means we have got...
So can I ask?
Yes.
And are we not going to say times 10 to the power of -90?
No, we do that if we have got a prefix. For now, we are just using 4 coulombs. Exactly. We're just using 4 coulombs. So here we're just using the charges. We're just using the charges that were given to see that if the electrons move from where there are many to where there are less, how many? I'm going to show you how do we apply the 10 to the power -90. I'm going to show you how we apply it. For now, I'm just making an example to say if we are given the charge of A is equals to 4 coulombs and -3 coulombs, you can add the charges and you divide by 2. We are still going to get to the -19 part or on how it works. But for now, we have just shared the charge between these two, whereby the electrons from B, they have moved to A. Okay, so that's basically it. So this is the new charge on each sphere. This is the new charge on sphere. So it means each sphere here will have 0.5 coulomb, 0.5 coulomb. So now let us get into this thing where the one that you are talking about, the times 10 to the power -19. So since we have said that we are transferring electrons are the ones that carry the charge, basically. The electrons carry the charge. So each and every electron has a charge of -1.6 times 10 to the power of -19 coulombs. So each and every electron has got negative 1,6 times 10 to the power negative 19 coulombs. So in this case, let's just say I've got my sphere A here. I've got sphere A with positive, and then I've got a negative. So in this sphere, I've got two protons and 3 electrons. So I've got more electrons than the protons. How many more electrons do we have here? Because here we've got 2 protons, we have got 3 electrons. So how many more electrons do I have here? How many excess electrons, as in how many electrons are more than when they're equal? In this case, you can see that we've got 2 protons, 2 electrons. So we've got 3 electrons, So how many more electrons do we have here in this sense? We have got 1 actually, 1 more. Do you see that? We've got 1 more. I can see you're opening your mic. So we've got 1 extra electron here. 1 extra electron. So in sense, we have got 1 extra, or you can say it's 1 excess electron. So how do you calculate the charge of this sphere? You say that the charge Q is equals to N times QE. So this QE, it is actually H. So this QE is basically the charge of a single electron. So this is the charge on a single electron, which is equals to negative 1,6 times 10 to the power of negative 19 coulombs. So whenever you see QE is a constant, then this N, this small letter n here, it is the number of excess electrons. So these are the excess electrons that you have. The extra electrons that you have in the sphere, the excess electrons that you have. So in this case, to calculate the charge of this sphere, we would say that Q is equals to, in this case, we've got 1 extra electron. This will be 1 times QE is a constant, the charge of a single electron, which is negative 1,6 times 10 to the power of negative 19 coulomb. So in this case, our charge for this sphere is negative 1,6 times 10 to the power of negative 19 coulombs. So that's how you find the charge. If you know, or when you know, then the excess electrons, how many excess electrons you have, because each electron makes a contribution of negative 1,6 times 10 to the power negative 19 coulomb. That is the charge of 1 electron. That is the charge of 1 electron. So basically here, we can say that in this sphere, we have got 1 extra electron, because these 2 protons, they will match with these 2 electrons. So there is 1 extra. So this 1 excess electron will give a charge of negative 1,6 times 10 to the power negative 19 coulomb. What if they say that a sphere has 30 excess electrons? Yes, 30 excess electrons. I want you to calculate the charge during the break, because we're about to take the 9 minutes break. So a sphere has 30 electrons. Calculate its charge. So during the break, go ahead and do this question. Calculate the charge on the sphere.